All right, let's not even have an intro. Let's just talk about the sad news of Jake Paul. I was I was in a really good mood until her last reminded me right before I clicked record. He tapped himself on the side and then threw a punch and pretended to be Jake Paul. Sam, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Jake Paul's still a thing, so could be better. But how much of the fight were you able to kind of catch on like highlights? Because I know you didn't pay for it. I watched it legally.
Yeah, I caught the final seconds of it, just pretty much the knockout. I don't know how the fight was beforehand. I just know, you know, Paul throws a right hand, Woodley moves his glove, and Woodley gets knocked out in the sixth.
Yeah, so the fight was pretty boring, if I'm not gonna lie. Like it was very slow moving. It seemed like Tyron would land a punch here or there, and then he would just either back away or go for the clinch. It didn't really make sense. It looked like he had never swung at anyone in his life. Obviously, we know that not to be true. And then the knockout, there was a lot of questions about it. I was defending Jake Paul before this fight. I was like, oh, there's no way it's rigged. There's no way that they could possibly like do this because there is prison time, and I don't think they're that stupid. Well, now I think they might just be that stupid. The entire thing just doesn't seem real. It just seems like it's a clown show. The best moment of the fight was Nate Diaz was walking around the arena pretending to go to punch people and just watching them fling their beers into the crowd. It was the strangest thing ever. He would go and fake a punch. People would get scared because Nate Diaz is coming to punch them in the face, and they would just spill everything. And Nate Diaz would laugh and walk away. A true menace to society.
He needs some action in 2022.
He definitely needs to get in a fight. The only other things worth noting in the Paul Woodley fight, I was hoping that we'd have a lot more to talk about, but Woodley is now possibly going to fight Le'Veon Bell in the next card. Because all of a sudden him and Jake Paul are best friends, which I also feel is weird. Amanda Serrano is a real boxer. She looked really good again. Now setting up a fight with Katie Taylor. So 2 of the top 3 in the world going to go at it. And if there's going to be any positive, it's that. And then Liam Perro looked good in his fight against, I believe last name was Alvaro. But in reality, if it wasn't for Jake Paul, I would never have even known either of their names. And I may never see their names again unless they fight on another Jake Paul fight, because while he is a champion, wasn't too fun to watch.
How did your boy Frank Gore look?
The Frank Gore Darren Williams fight was actually pretty entertaining. If there was an entertaining fight of the night, it was that one. It was pretty wild when Darren Williams shoved Frank Gore through the ring, and he ended up hitting a cameraman. And actually I think they said he cut his side, and then he got in and immediately pushed Darren Williams, and I thought that was going to start a whole brawl. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. They got right back to boxing as 2 old men and ran out of gas in the 4-round fight. So up until the final couple seconds, that fight was very entertaining, actually. Even though Frank Gore did come up with a loss, it sounds like we're going to get more NBA versus NFL action. It just seems like something that a lot of these guys are going to be doing now. Kind of a whole weird fight.
What they should do is have a offensive lineman or defensive lineman fight a center.
Yeah, let's just get some big guys in there. Honestly, that might be more fun. But into the UFC, we had a really good fight card.
Yeah.
What fights did you kind of want to mention before any of the others?
Guy that really impressed me, it's kind of up the card, was Bilal Muhammad versus Wonder Boy.
I was going to mention it too. Bilal Muhammad is a true contender, which is really good. And he wants to fight Khamzat. I think we found our next Khamzat
great fight.
Chimaev versus Bilal Muhammad would be probably one of the best fights of 2022. I think that is a type of guy that can actually stand with Khamzat. Wonder Boy, it looks like the clock might just be running out of time for him, sadly. Probably the nicest guy in MMA, but he just hasn't looked great in his last couple fights.
Yeah, I mean, Muhammad dominated him the entire fight. I know going into it, they're like, Wonder Boy's never been he's only been taken down 5 times in his entire UFC career. Bilal took him down, I think, 6 times in that fight.
Yeah, Muhammad caps off a really, really good 2021. Kind of puts his name into the Fighter of the Year category by going 3-0-1 with his one no contest being the brutal eye poke he suffered against Leon Edwards, where that was really early in that fight. There very well could have been a 4-0 Bilal Muhammad, who we'd be probably talking about getting a title shot soon if that Leon Edwards fight could have went all the way through. But yeah, then Derrick Lewis, does he deserve a title shot? Now that's a real question again.
I mean, I know we were talking about it the other day, and you said if Cyril Gane wins the unification essentially with Ngannou, Lewis is not going to get the title fight.
Well, I think he doesn't want to fight Ngannou again. He already said he's been there, done that. He actually wants to aim at a Stipe fight, which I think that'd be awesome to watch as well. Realistically, it doesn't really matter who wins this heavyweight fight at 270 or at UFC 270. I think it's gonna be John Jones getting the next chance regardless, and I think that people are finally accepting that. So we'll see. I really felt for Daukaus. I think he bit off more than he can chew right away. I think he's still going to be coming up. But Derrick Lewis is a tough guy to fight when realistically you're not that experienced.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for the first, what is it? The fight lasted 3 minutes and 36 seconds. I thought for the first 2 minutes, Daukaus was looking good.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 minutes out of a 25-minute fight, it's not too great.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was just trying to get a positive out there for Daukaus. As soon as Lewis landed one of those big right hands, he rocked him and it was over.
The other person I want to talk about is Angela Hill, who's now set sad record of most split decision losses, pretty much getting robbed of the most amount of wins possible in the UFC. I thought Angela Hill won that fight, if I'm being completely honest. But shout out Angela Hill. She's always been great. She's great for ESPN. I hope this isn't coming towards the end for her just because she is entertaining and she's been in there with some of the best of the best. But I mean, Amanda Lemos, credit due, got the win, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more going. Cub Swanson pretty much saved his UFC career with a big win in front of his family. Our boy Harry Hunsucker, not a great result. Took a pretty violent kick to the face. I believe he said he fractured a cheekbone or a rib or something. I know those aren't close to each other at all, but he ended up leaving with a pretty big injury. Justin Taffa did miss weight in that fight, so that's kind of unfortunate. Raquel Pennington, she looks like she could make another run at a title. I think that she'll have to wait a while though, just because, I mean, there's a lot going on in the women's MMA.
Another person that, Racine native, Merchant, looked pretty good in his, actually, no, he didn't look very good. He just got one submission in and it was over.
Yeah, that was
Dustin Stolfuse.
Yeah, it wasn't the most deserved win, but hey, it was impressive what he did. Dontel Mays was impressive. He's a DWCS alum. I really liked what he was able to do in the octagon on Saturday. But yeah, now it puts us in a unfortunate position where now we have to wait till January 15th for the next Fight Night card. Sam, so first year really being a big, I wouldn't say big for most of the year, but getting into the UFC and MMA, how do you feel?
There was some exciting fights, you get some pay-per-views where the main event ends first round where guy breaks his leg.
Yeah.
And then you get some where it's you pay for it and you get first pay-per-view you ever buy and you get fight of the year.
The one thing I do want to say is next week we'll be doing our awards show with Hunter on the show. What we're going to do is we're all going to nominate one person, fight, whatever it is, team, coach, per category. We'll have you guys vote on it and then we'll reveal the winners. So we will have that on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then you guys can let us know who you guys have, and we will move from there, and we'll announce our winners next week. But with it being Christmas tomorrow, me and Sam are going to do a little bit of a Christmas list, wishing Santa would bring us a few things in the world of MMA. Sam, do you want to start us off?
I mean, let's see.
What does your Christmas list to Santa say for 2022 MMA? Or even earlier?
Let's see. I mean, I'm just kind of looking through the rankings.
I mean, if you want, I can start.
Yeah, you can start.
All right. Dear Santa, please bring us a sane and controlled Jon Jones in 2022. There's nothing that would make fans happier than to have Jon Jones returning to glory, winning the heavyweight belt from either Ngannou or Gane, and finally bringing back his dominance and being the pound for pound number one that we know he should be. All I want for Christmas is Jon Jones to return and be that guy again. Sam, what would be first on your list for Santa?
I mean, fight that I'd like to see is, which is going to happen eventually, hopefully this year, is Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, that's if they don't give it to Conor first.
You think Oliveira is only going to fight once this year?
I mean, he should get fighting next against Gaethje, but we'll see what happens there.
But yeah, that's one fight I want to see this upcoming year is Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. I think Gaethje is easily the second best in that division.
Another thing that I would like to wish for, obviously this comes with the beginning of the show, please have a real boxer knock out Jake Paul, and so we can actually see if he really wants to be in this business or not. Because I'm thinking as soon as he gets knocked out, he'll never want to step back in the ring again, which I have no issue with that. Or if he wants to get into the octagon and Dana White wants to give him that chance against Jorge Masvidal that they've both been talking back and forth on Twitter about, please give Jake Paul whatever amount of money so we can see Gamebred just knock the living lights out of Jake Paul inside the octagon.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll agree with that. Just get Jake Paul out of the news. I don't want to hear anything about him when I'm looking through anything sports related.
I know. I'm really sick and tired of Jake Paul being an actual topic for our show.
Or a top story when you're looking at anything sports.
ESPN is covering Jake Paul.
I mean, ESPN's gone down the shit.
I don't disagree. Another thing, please bring a UFC and or Bellator event, preferably both, to both Chicago and Milwaukee. It'd be nice to have it be close, and so we don't have to make these long travels, and we'll be able to actually attend from the comfort of our own homes. That's another big wish for me.
Yeah.
And then my final wish, please, Henry Cejudo, I want you back, buddy. I want you to fight for a title, whether it's against Volkanovski or Max Holloway, or if you're going to go and fight Aljamain or Peter Yan, who you said you would absolutely terrorize and they'd never touch you in the octagon. Whichever one you choose to do, I want to see Triple C in full effect, just taking over the MMA world again, making everyone bend the knee and hate you more than they already do, because personally, I'm a big Cejudo fan.
I mean, one thing I hope to is early 2021 or 2022, Aljamain finally steps up and fights Peter Yan again.
Agreed. And the other fight, or actually, this one's more just I hope he never fights again. Tyron Woodley, just hang it up. Go back to your very, very sad rap career. I don't ever want to hear your name again after the disappointment that we all had in you. I know the MMA community has never been too nice to you, so I will say you were a good 5-time champion, good for the sport, but you're now just ruining it by stepping in there and losing brutally to guys like Jake Paul.
I'll agree with that.
That's pretty much all I got. I mean, very short episode. There's really not much news to cover, which is actually a good thing for it being Christmas week.
John Jones is out of the news.
Yeah, John Jones, that plea deal. I mean, it's amazing that man doesn't get arrested.
They're scared of him.
But hey, I'm not the judge. I don't care. I just want to see good fights. And John Jones, whether he's fighting for the heavyweight title or he's fighting his wife, he's a pretty good fighter. Merry Christmas, guys. I know this was a short one. Hopefully you guys don't have to do anything too crazy. We don't even have to tell you to gamble responsibly because there's nothing to gamble on in the combat sports world, but always gamble responsibly. Sam, anything you want to say?
I think I'm good. I'm looking forward to that first fight night of 2022, as well as, that first pay-per-view, Cyril Gane versus Ngannou, as well as, isn't it Moreno versus 3?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait a couple weeks, but should be an exciting start to the 2022 MMA world.
Yeah, the one thing I think we'll discuss a little bit more in future shows, just because we have some time now. I think the UFC is gonna have to go to that Eagle FC format and go 165, 175 instead of just having a 170 division, which I think we said it last episode. Open that up with the Colby Covington, Dustin Poirier title fight. I think you got something on your hands at 165. And then who knows? Then you have 175 be Usman versus the winner of Khamzat and Bilal Muhammad. I think people would be very happy with that.
Yeah, you get Colby in the news more. Get him
You can never have too much Colby. Let me say that right away.
Maybe for some people, not for us.
No, we are big Colby fans. Colby, if you see this, check your DMs. I think I've DM'd you every day. So one of these days he will be on the show.
Hopefully.
That's all I'm asking him, by the way. I'm not too creepy. I'm just asking him that I really want him on this show. I feel like we could have a very fun time. All right.
Probably training too much.
What'd you say?
Probably training too much.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do much, I feel like. I think he just hangs out with mamacitas and trains. So good for him. Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys right before New Year's. Peace.
Yep. See ya.